You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your girl, Yo Diva in Knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Hope everybody is doing good. So I definitely want to go in and get into today's content. If you don't mind, please hit that like button so you don't forget. You already know I'm going to deliver and come through, so you can just go ahead and smash the likes. I would gladly appreciate that. Big ups to everybody who are members, who have joined. Big ups to everyone who has subscribed to me. Thank y'all so much. And for those of you who are not members or have not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe today if you can. So I want to get into this right away, y'all. I thought it was very imperative that I talked about this because it's starting to become a very common issue. I'm just starting to notice that a lot of these, unstable men, and of course we have a lot of unstable women. So this is content to not bash just a specific gender, but in this case, we are talking about men today that are mentally unstable, and these are the men that women are choosing to have children from, who are choosing to make their husbands. And unfortunately, a lot of these women have paid the price in some form or another. They have either lost their sense of security, they have lost their dignity, or either in the worst case scenario, they have lost their lives or lost their peace of mind. So I want to kind of really get into this because I don't know if any of y'all have heard about it, but it has gone viral. Keke Palmer, actress, has reportedly filed a restraining order against estranged boyfriend, baby daddy, DeShay Jackson, alleging he abused her throughout their 2-year relationship. This embattled couple have a 9-month-old son together. Palmer, who is 30, claims in a document obtained by U.S. Weekly that she has a security camera footage from an incident on November 5th where Jackson allegedly trespassed into her home without her knowledge and consent and threatened her before lunging for her neck, striking her, throwing her over the couch, and then stealing her phone. So she reportedly continues, this is exactly what Mrs. Palmer said according to her own statement. There has been many instances of physical abuse with Jackson, which allegedly include destroying my personal property, including diaries and prescription eyeglasses, throwing my belongings into the street, throwing my car keys to prevent me from driving away, hitting me in front of our son, spewing profanities about me to our son, threatening to kill himself with a gun if I left him, harassment and other physical and emotional abuse. The outlet reports the Nope actress stated the pair's relationship finally ended for good in early October, primarily due to the physical and emotional abuse inflicted on her by him. So, y'all, there's a footage that has gone viral of Mr. Jackson actually physically assaulting Keke. If you Google it, put it in your search engine, you're going to see a couple of screenshots. I have not seen the live video as of yet, but I'm sure the police agencies has, and this is the reason why they granted the restraining order, and they granted her custody of her child. So he will not have access to be able to get that child whenever he wants. In many cases, and I'm glad the police agency, the judge, acted on this, because a lot of women didn't get this lucky. There have been women who have reported abuse, and the judge, the agency didn't feel the need to act on it urgently, and it's been women who unfortunately who have lost their lives because the judge didn't grant that restraining order. The judge needed more evidence, needed more time. A lot of women have been deprived of the system being proactive with their safety. So just the fact that they did grant it right away, the Lord is definitely on her side, because I remember a real estate agent who kept going to the police department because she knew her husband was really, really volatile and off the chain, and she knew he was going to take her life, and she reported it over and over, and based off of that state's jurisdictions and policy, it was something a matter of it had to be a certain amount of time before they could actually file it. I forgot whatever reason they gave her, but they did not act on the accusation right away, and unfortunately it gave the man full advantage in being able to unalive her, and he succeeded in that, because when she tried to be proactive and prevent it and get that restraining order, that jurisdiction did not have the right laws in alignment in which they could activate the warrant, the restraining order and the case right away. So some of these states are very nonchalant, because they hear so many cases about women being abused and unalived, and sometimes the systems are so over flooded and so overcrowded with so many domestic violence disputing cases that your case is looked at as another number. So big ups to Keke Palmer. Somebody's praying over her, and I seen her mother also do a video basically going in on Darius Jackson and Darius Jackson's brother. Darius Jackson's brother basically tried to co-sign on his brother's abuse, and that only made matters far worse. So it's definitely not a good look for Darius Jackson right now, and I could only hope that he does not become worse. He doesn't pop off and take it to another level, because some of these abusers, once they feel like power has been taken out of their hands, they lose control. When an abuser no longer has control, he loses control. So I'm hoping, for the sake of Keke Palmer's safety and her family's safety, that this man does not unhinge, does not spiral any further than what he has, because he has definitely demonstrated that he has anger issues. So it's not nothing to be taken lightly. And yes, I'm rejoicing that the judge did, the judge did approve of this, and I'm glad that the restraining order and all of that is in motion. But it does not mean that people can control this man's mind. You get most of the time these abusers get so angry they take it to another level. He just gives me creepy low vibration vibes, like he will stalk her, watch her come out of her home. I just do not trust him, just based off the viral footage I've seen. This guy is off the chain. Now, Keke Palmer's mom spoke out based off of Darius Jackson's abuse claims, and slams his brother Sarunas. Keke Palmer's mom is defending her daughter after the Nope actress accused her ex-boyfriend Darius Jackson of abuse and filed for full custody of their son on Thursday. Sharon Palmer took to Instagram to issue a rare statement. She took particular issue with Jackson's brother Sarunas Jackson condemning his siblings' alleged actions in a since deleted tweet. Sharon called the insecure actor ridiculous in her video. claiming he knew Darius was abusive before news broke. I went to you pronounce it Serranos. I went to Serranos over a year ago and told him that his brother was abusive to my daughter, and he said, well, I used to be like that too, she alleged. So now he's posting on Twitter like he's this special guy when we know he's the biggest fuck boy in Hollywood. Now, this is what the mother said. He's disrespectful to women just like his brother. I believe that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Sharon went on to claim Serranos taught his brother how to be abusive. The matriarch, who doesn't often speak out, but she said she couldn't help herself. He don't get to act like he's a special guy. No, you're F-boy and you're part of the problem. Serranos has yet to address Keke's restraining order against Darius since seemingly calling his brother the most disgusting, vile, abusive, manipulative person on Friday before deleting the tweet. Abuses almost everyone, the 33-year-old claimed. Y'all will see. Just send positive energy to the babies. Any child in the middle of something like this does not deserve it at all. Wow, so damn sad. Sharon called Serranos and his brother sociopaths in the captions of her rant, as well as phony. She wrote, I dare you. Mess with my family. Family means everything to me. I saw you from day one. My daughter is kind and our family treated you with kindness, and this is how you treat it. I won't take this laying down anymore, Sharon concluded. I'm done. Sharon's followers praised her for speaking out, noting that she hasn't ever hopped online and spoke on nothing, so you know this is serious. Keke, 30, started dating Darius in 2021, and Darius in 2021 with the couple welcoming son, Leotis, 2 years later. While reports resurfaced in August that the duo had called it quits, and he publicly shamed her outfit at an Usher concert, I know y'all remember that, they did not break up for good until that following month, according to Keke's court filing. While seeking a protective order against Darius, Keke wrote that she ended her relationship with him for their son's sake. He needs and deserves to be safe and grow up in an environment free from violence, she wrote, alleging that Darius has only been more unhinged, volatile, and dangerous since the split. The pair's reps have yet to respond to the request for comments since she filed for sole physical and legal custody of their baby. But Darius did tweet that he loves Leo and will see him soon. Now, as y'all can see, y'all, this is just the beginning. And the sad part about this is that she's going to have to deal with Darius for the rest of her life, restraining order or not. They do have a child together. You cannot just make these men disappear because they are abusive. Restraining orders is fine. The court systems are getting involved. That's a great thing. But at the end of the day, y'all have a child together. It would have been such an easier, clean break had there not been a child involved. Keke could have just up, left, moved, and started a whole new chapter in her life, never having nothing to do with them again. And this is why it's very imperative that women are very mindful and very careful who you choose to breed your seed from, because a lot of these guys, once y'all get involved, and there's a child involved, you cannot just write these people out your life. And I tell men the same thing on my Mocha's Cafe de Paris channel. You know, I tell them that, look, once you impregnate a toxic woman and you have a child from her, you're going to have to deal with this woman for the rest of your life. It does not matter how much the courts get involved. You got to deal with the disrespect, her nasty mouth. The courts are only going to protect you only to a certain degree. And it's very important that we know this. So we got Keke Palmer, unfortunately, who has finally, you know, reached a place in which she realizes, you know, this is not worth my sanity and my child's safety. And I commend her on that, because you have a lot of women who see all the red flags, but yet they are so determined at standing by their man, keeping a relationship going, because their fear is their image. They're worried about what people going to say about them, what people going to think about them. Also, the article I read, just want to give credit, is from Page 6 is the name of the website. It's called Page 6, for those of you who wanted to know where I received that information from. Also, Lovely T, which is a phenomenal content creator. She was one of the main ones that I got the initial information from. So check her out as well. Let her know Mocha sent you if you decide to subscribe to her. But nevertheless, we have a different situation with this other young lady. She goes by the name of DeShay Stevenson, and she's 35 years old, entrepreneur, very successful young woman who was also unfortunately unalived by her husband, who she so dearly worshipped, who she so dearly praised. I did my research, I checked her resume, and she's done a lot of videos praising this man, saying how he's a wonderful husband, he's the best thing that ever happened to her. You can tell, she spent a lot of money on him, and she just really loved this man to death, literally. But I'm going to read the article so you all can have a little bit more familiarity. So DeShay Stevenson, 35, did everything in her power to show that she loved her husband, Michael Smith, age 39, no matter what. This is according to her sister. It was somehow not enough. Cops in Dallas, Texas, claim Smith fatally shot Stevenson in her chest. Records show he remains held on a $1 million bond at the local jail on count of murder. Family members realized something was wrong Tuesday night when the slain woman's 16-year-old daughter called to say she could not get in touch with her. Relatives told the outlet, so they knew something was definitely wrong. It was completely out of character for Stevenson, who not only had that one daughter, but also served as the caregiver for her own mother, who was partially paralyzed after suffering a stroke. So as y'all can see, this young lady had a lot of value, importance. She was a mother, and she was also the caregiver of her mother, who definitely needed her support because her mother is partially paralyzed after suffering a stroke. She never leaves my niece no matter what, James Stevenson said. She never leaves my mama no matter what. As to her sister's relationship with Smith, Jasmine Stevenson, it was a lot of red flags. Although WFAA was unclear about the details of the warning signs, Jasmine Stevenson and their cousin Nita looked for her, tracking her car to the Pleasant Village apartment where the victim's father-in-law reportedly lives. I seen a big handprint on the driver window, Nita said. I'm a criminal justice major, so I started trying to use different context clues. They learned from a community blog about a woman being shot to death 3 minutes away. They arrived at the scene of the crime where officers confirmed the worst. Officers reportedly tracked Smith to a home, and when he wasn't there, they found him at a nearby barbershop. Detectives said the surveillance footage from the apartment complex showed the couple driving into a parking lot in separate vehicles. Stevenson stepped into Smith's vehicle. Officers said it remained parked there for a while, and there seemed to be a disturbance inside. When officers found Smith's vehicle in the driveway, they could see in plain sight that there was blood in the front seat. There was a bullet shell casing in the driver's seat. A lone sandal matching the one Stevenson wore when found was inside the vehicle. Also, investigators claim to find multiple guns inside the defendant's residence. The murder leaves the Stevenson family with heart-wrenching unanswered questions like, "I just don't understand," James Stevenson said. "I just want to know why." So, according to some of the research I have done, DeShay did everything she could to try to keep her husband happy. Now, keep in mind, Michael Smith, her husband, he wasn't really providing or contributing much of anything. DeShay was an entrepreneur, businesswoman, so she was the primary breadwinner. She was the one making most of the income. And a lot of the video footage, of her and him together displays how much she really went out her way to try to make this man happy.
DeShay Stevenson was bubbly, always the life of the party, and always loving on her family. Making sure her 16-year-old daughter had it all, serving as a caregiver for her mom who had a stroke and is now partially paralyzed. And to top it off, trying to be the perfect wife.
She did everything in her power to show him that she loved him no matter what.
But her sister Jasmine says somehow that love was not enough.
It was a lot of red flags.
Red flags the family didn't catch in time. Police found Stevenson's body Wednesday morning. She'd been shot point blank in the chest. Police say her husband, Michael Smith, is to blame.
Like, I just don't understand. I just want to know why. Why would you take my sister from us? Like, why?
Family says they knew something was wrong Tuesday night when Stevenson's daughter called to say she couldn't get a hold of her mom.
She never leave my niece, no matter what. She never leave my mama, no matter what.
So she called her cousin Nita, and they started looking for her. They tracked her car to these apartments where Stevenson's father-in-law lives.
I seen a big handprint on the driver window. And, you know, I'm a criminal justice major, so I started trying to use like different contact clues.
Then came a post from a community blog.
It said that it was a lady shot to death, which was like 3 minutes from where we was at.
When they got there, police confirmed the worst, and officers began searching for Smith. They tracked him to this home. Video shows SWAT outside. But Smith wasn't there. A short time later, police tracked him here to a barbershop not far from that home, where cell phone video captures officers taking him into custody.
Just get away, get out of the situation. I don't wish this on nobody.
Her family sending that message to anyone else who may be going through something similar. In Dallas County, I'm Janelle Ford.
She brought him gifts. She gave him money. She always complimented him, praised him, you know, and this happens quite frequently, you know, especially now that we have the privilege of social media. I've come to a point, y'all, I don't know about y'all ladies out there, but whenever I see a woman or a man doing the most, 9 times out of 10 usually means that means they have the most troubles on the home front. Listen, our relationship goals are not relationship goals. The more a woman has to keep praising and validating a man, it's already a major red flag to me, because I'm like, how much assurance does this man need for you to constantly keep complimenting him? So somewhere there is trouble in paradise. I've seen it, you know. Like I said, I have a Facebook, I have an Instagram account, and all of these women, and I've seen it a couple of times, who love to praise and brag constantly on their husbands, constantly on their baby daddies. It's really a compensation to cover up all of the troubles and drama and toxicity that is really occurring within that relationship. Unfortunately, these new breed of men, they are very feminine when it comes to how they deal with their emotions. You know, a lot of these men they lack discipline, and I'm not saying all men have this problem. You do have men who do control their anger, who do not allow their emotions to get the best of them to where they are unaliving someone. They just walk away, move on, better themselves, and that's basically it. You know, they don't allow, they don't put so much hope into one woman that if she fails him or disappoints him, he feels the need to unalive her. Well, this is the problem. When you're picking up build-a-bums, and this is what I mean by build-a-bums, and Keke Palmer is kind of in that similar situation. You know, only difference is she has not been unalived by the grace of God, but and we'll use Martell Holt. You know, unfortunately, when you pick up men from the bottom who don't have much going for them, and you bring them into a world in which you introduce them to having the best of things, listen, that was Keke Palmer's mansion, where this man physically broke in her mansion and physically attacked her in her house. Same thing with DeShay. Her husband unalived her, you know, and we've seen Martell go all out his way to try to do everything possible to destroy Melody. And this is the problem. When you pick up men, these bottom of the barrel better males, because I'm not going to say men, because not all men are the same. So I would say these bottom of the barrel, bottom breed better males. That's the word I'm going to say. The bottom breed beta male. I got to write that down, y'all, because that's a lot of B's. Bottom breed beta male, because you know I'll get tongue tied. So you have these bottom breed beta males, right? They become a liability when you take them from nothing and try to introduce them to something, and you try to make them bigger than what they're used to being. And what tends to happen is when you deal with men with this type of psyche, you're up against a couple of things. Because for one, they love you not based on loving you for you. They love you for what you do. They become accustomed to you being their everything for them. You know, they become accustomed to you supporting them, financially contributing, uplifting them, putting them on a pedestal. You know, when you taking these bottom breed beta males, they become codependent off of your I know the word I want to say. They become codependent off of you basically showering them and worshiping them. For instance, I'll say Martell. Martell had become very accustomed to Martell making him look good. Okay? He became to having Melody as that boss wife that knew how to handle her business, knew how to also help him look his best. He became codependent on that. He became very codependent on Melody being the provider, being the strongest one head-wise as far as when it comes to business. He became very codependent on that, which made him codependent on the lifestyle that she gave him. You know, the nice cars, the beautiful home. He became very codependent on that. And when Melody finally woke up and smelled the coffee and said, no, I'm not in the business of holding on to my marriage just because I'm worried about how people are going to look at me. My image, my well-being is more important than my image. I'm not going to do the Tisha where I'm going to stand by my man no matter how embarrassed I look or no matter how much he humiliates me. She came to that point to where she didn't want to keep taking herself through the emotional toll of it. So she divorced Martell. Martell, of course, we've witnessed him over the years do his best, try to do his best at destroying and sabotaging Melody. And it came from the fact that he knew he no longer had control. And listen, the thing about the bottom breed beta male, once they no longer have control, they get out of control, because now it makes them have to change. And this is something a bottom breed beta male is not good at. He's not good at changing. He loves things to stay the same. Listen, if you want a bottom breed beta male to act up, flip the script on him. Change something on him. Martell thought he was going to go all his life and keep hoeing on our woman throughout his marriage, disrespected his vows, disrespected his children. He never thought it was going to end. And when it ended, he went ham. Same thing with Keke Palmer. Baby daddy, you know, as long as he was able to live off of this woman. Matter of fact, I remember when he first called himself wanting to get custody of the baby and stating that Keke Palmer is on the road too much. She never has time to keep the baby, so the baby, he needs to be given the primary custody, because see, he made himself the at-home dad. You know, and I have a problem with men who make themselves the at-home dad so they can get around and having to work and provide. I think you should be a dad in addition to having a job, having a business. You don't just sit home and keep the baby while the woman works so you can use that as an excuse. Pretty much kind of like what Martell did. Martell never really had a job. He never really did. I won't say he didn't do nothing when he was married to Melody, but he didn't do a lot. He thought that he could compensate by staying home, keeping the kids, helping them with their homework. Now, we saw the great parts of Martell when Martell was helping the kids with their homework, cooking, and all of that. But listen, some of these men want to become full-time dads so they can get out of being responsible and providers. So you got to be careful. Now, a man who works and has a business and who is still hands-on and attentive with his children, that's a wonderful thing. But a man who just wants to take care of his children so he don't have to take care of the bills, I got a problem with that. And women who don't see nothing wrong with it, because you got some women, they love to work. Some women love to provide. They rather their children be at home with the kids. So, you know, they don't want their kids in a child care center. They don't want other family members. That it may seem like a win-win, but it's the problem. When you get tired of these men, you know, using you, not doing their part, or they become verbally and emotionally abusive and you want to get rid of them, you done made these men spoiled to you doing everything. And the reason why he's flipping out is not because he's afraid of losing you. He's afraid of losing the lifestyle you got him accustomed to. That was Melody's problem. That was Keke's problem. And that was DeShay's problem. These men, when they become threatened by you, no matter how much you try to put them on a pedestal, all of these women in this situation, all of them have tried to make these men look better than what they really were. And all it was, you know, sometimes as women, we think that if we stroke a man's ego long enough, that eventually he will man up, he will want to continue to fulfill those duties as long as we keep giving them that extra boost. It's kind of like having a child. If you see that child picks up his toys and you tell relate to that child, that's a good job, Joey, that's a good job, you know, that you picking up your toys, you did a wonderful thing. Guess what? That's going to motivate that baby to keep picking up his toys, because you know why? He wants his mommy to be proud of him. He wants his mama to clap for him, to cheer for him. And that's something mothers do. We motivate our kids by letting them know they're doing a good job. But when you got to keep doing that with a grown-ass man, something is wrong. The buttermilk ain't clean, okay? Something is wrong with that when you got to praise a grown man. And, you know, I love my Melody. You know, that's my girl. But I remember how much she kept praising in the initial beginning. She was praising how Martell was a great father, a great this and great that, and behind closed doors she was really dealing with a demon, hell on wheels, you know. And it's no different than what Kimmy and what Kimmy is doing with Maurice and what Tisha's doing with Marceau. You know, a lot of women who are being manipulated, being abused, being taken advantage of by your own husband. A lot of women don't want to believe it. Your own husband could take advantage of you. Don't think it's just a man in the street, in the club, trying to talk to you to get some booty or whatever. Your own husband will take advantage of you if you let him. You know, he will push you up and encourage you to do all kind of things to make his life easy, you know, and you have to have enough discretion to know, just because it's my husband, I'm not going to cross this line. I'm not going to go this far. I'm not going to put myself, I mean, I get that's my husband, but I'm not signing on all these loans now. I'm not sitting up here putting my name on everything, and meanwhile he's running and regulating it like he's supposed to, and I don't have to say so. Even husbands have to have boundaries, okay? Even husbands have to have boundaries. Some certain things I have to tell my husband, I don't mind doing this, I don't mind doing that, but I'm not going to do that. That's your job. That's where you got to handle that. You know, I know my load as a wife and as a woman. And any man who has any type of respect or appreciation for his wife, he's not going to make her step outside, way out of her element, if he knows it's uncomfortable for her. Not that we shouldn't encourage each other to step outside the element, because that brings growth. But you got some of these men, they want you to do it all. And meanwhile, they benefit and they will burn you out. And this is the problem. This is the thing. You create a monster. You want these men want you to do it all. And sometimes women, we become so independent and we love being in control to a certain degree because that's our way of feeling secure and knowing things that are getting done. But it's the problem. When you have a bottom breed better male, and he gets used to you doing everything, and you get tired of his whack behind, and you don't want him no more, and you want out of the marriage because you can't take the abuse, or even if it's not physical abuse, you can't take the emotional abuse, you can't tell the verbal abuse. Listen, some of these men got mouths that are deadly, that will cut you like a machete. It's more than one way for a man to hurt you other than just putting his hands on you, you feel me? Some of it can be nasty. They can let you know how unattractive you are, let you know they could do better than you, let you know I got other women who satisfy me and give me this, that, and the third. Anything to try to belittle you as a woman and make you feel less than, when in actuality they are feeling less than. But it's called gaslighting. I want you to feel about yourself the way I feel about me. And like in the words of Pastor Jakes, he said this one time. He said, a man who beats on his woman is really because he's beating up on himself. A man who hates his woman is really because he hates himself. And you got to really understand, and that's definitely the truth, you know. Seeing how Martell, seeing how Darius Jackson, Keke Palmer, baby daddy, seeing how DeShay, how her baby daddy unalived her after she, you know, gave him all his glory and praise, trying to make him feel valid, trying to validate him and his feelings. DeShay Stevenson. And at the end of the day, you know, these men were despising the women who had nothing but their best interest. A man can lay in the same bed with you and want the worst for you. A man can sit right there by your side when you start growing in your businesses, growing in entrepreneurship. He'll sit right there, help you cut the ribbon to your building, do all of that, act like he's celebrating you, and undercoverly he is hating every moment of your growth. It's called sleeping with the enemy, y'all. He could sit up there and lay next to you every single night. Listen, he'll sit up there and drive the new car that you bought him and jealous as hell. Jealous of you because you bought him that car. He's mad because he's so less than a man. He know he's too lazy. Even though he know he's too lazy to even go out there and make the money to buy that kind of car. He know he lacks the ambition. He lacks the motivation to do what you do, but at the same time he's jealous because you're doing something that he does not have the balls or the courage to do. And what happens? They will accept and use and take everything that you give them, but underneath that they low-key hating on you, low-key jealous of all of your friends, your family who love what you do, who support what you do. He's sitting right there at the dinner table eating your grits, your eggs, your bacon and ham, and hating you to death, hating you the moment you step foot on your floor. And you up here, my baby, my hubby, my love, he's such a wonderful man, and meanwhile he's jealous of you. He wants to see you fail, not understanding when you win, he wins. But his self-esteem is so low. You have some men, their self-esteem is so low, they will sabotage you, even if it means they're going to lose and suffer in the process. This man is going to go to prison for unaliving his wife for what? When she did nothing but love him, support him, treasure him. Make him feel important. But this is the thing, ladies. You cannot make a man who's half empty. You can't make him feel whole. I don't care how many blowjobs you give him. I don't care how many cars you buy him. You know, I don't care, you know, what all you do for him to try to make him feel important. If he feels that less of himself, anything you do for him, he's going to consider it a threat. Why you think Martell tried to go for the juggler? You know, and to this day, he's still threatened by Melody, which is why he went back to the Angry Bird. He wants somebody that's going to make him feel more of a man, because see, with Melody, he didn't feel like a man. With Ariane air mattress, he can feel more of a man because she's a bird brain. She doesn't have a lot going for him enough to where he will become intimidated by her. If that makes sense to y'all, if y'all feel me on that? That is why he's willing to deal with Ariane, not because she's better, not because of the blowjobs and all of that. Those are just extra bonuses. Those are just extra accessories. What it is with Ariane, he can feel more of a man because Ariane is that small to him. You ever see any of these guys who cheat on their wives for somebody very basic? Somebody that's not even pretty, attractive, doesn't even have half as much going on? It is because the lower a woman sees herself, the bigger he becomes in her presence. This is why you have some men, these are the ones who go after the prostitute. These are the ones that go after the below the barrel, the low vibration hoes. These are the ones that pick up the Angry Birds and the air mattresses. They want something that's not a challenge. They want something that's not going to question them. That's not going to question their masculinity. Listen, Ariane will not question. Ariane Angry Bird is not going to question Martell's masculinity, because as far as she's concerned, her masculinity is his penis. You got some of these women out here. They define a man's masculinity by his dick size and the way he knows how to stroke and work it in motions. Long as he know how to wind it up, butterfly on it, you feel me? In her mind, that's masculinity, because he knows how to make her nut. He knows how to make her climax. In her mind, she's thinking her orgasms that she receives from him is what defines his masculinity. Only to find out that even after you bust a nut or two, this man cannot handle no business. So while Ariane is walking around here, acting like she's Michelle Obama, because she finally gets to go out in public with him, she does not have to hide him anymore. She's trying to poke the bear by buying things for his children and all this and that and everything. And I'm like, you know what? This is the moment you've been savoring. You've been waiting on this. But girlfriend, before you know it, just as quick as he builds you up, it's just as quick as he's going to tear you down. Listen, Martell, like a lot of these men that I'm discussing this content today, they know how to build you up enough just to set you up to tear you down and let you down. And that is why it's very imperative that you don't put these men on the pedestal. Don't make them your God. Love them. Yes, as a wife, you love your husband. You protect them. You support them. You be there for them. You make sure they good. Make sure they taking their medicine. Make sure they eating healthy. You still got a due diligence. You have a duty as a wife to take care of your front home. But all this worshiping them, especially somebody else's husband, all that big talk Ariane Angry Bird did with Straight No Chaser, how she's done with Martell and all this and that. We already knew that was a total fluke. She was selling wolf tickets. She's been waiting anxiously to get to this point, and in her mind, it's serious to her, but it's a game to Martell. And when she finds that out, whole world is going to crumble all over again. Because listen, every time you keep letting these bottom breeder beta males in and out your life, when you go for a long time not dealing with them, you build up your strength, you build up your integrity, you start to strengthen yourself. And every time you go back and they do you in, you got to rebuild yourself all over again. And that's what's going to happen with Ariane. But depending on how much you invest at the second or the third or the fourth time round, building yourself back up is not going to be near as easy. It's going to get harder and harder and more difficult, because you have to mentally program yourself. Because you have let your guard down. You done made yourself comfortable. You didn't protect yourself. You didn't keep your guard up. So now you got to rebuild. And when Martell does her in this time, she's really going to be distraught, because see how she's making herself even more comfortable. She's out in the public with him now. She's everywhere with him now. So when he does her in this time, which he will, she's going to be distraught. She's really going to be distraught. But guess what? Nobody's not going to care. That's her karma. But it's really sad, y'all, that you do have a lot of women that have paid the price, um, making these bottom breed beta males bigger than what they are. The truth is, a lot of these men will come to you in confidence. Will come to you with confidence. Will marry you. Will have children with you. Like they really want to have a future with you, and the whole time they're envious of people who love you, people who support you, people who want nothing but the best for you. You have to be able to read the red flags, read in between. That's why I pay attention to you got to pay attention to the red flags. You got to pay attention to when a woman has to constantly validate her man. It's a reason for that. That I ain't trying to be funny. I don't deal with women who always brag on their husbands. I'm a married woman. I don't want to be in the company of women who always bragging on their husbands. I don't like them type of females. I don't like them. I don't care for them. I just don't, because my thing is, the more you're doing all this bragging, it just let me know that something is not all the way legit. Because why you got to keep letting me know what he does for you, how much money you spend on him, that there's some lack of security in which you really feel like you got to keep boosting him up and boosting up everything that you do for him. 9 times out of 10, when a woman is constantly bragging and trying to reassure him, it's because that man is insecure. He's insecure. And listen, you got some men around here who want attention worse than women. Attention used to really be just something women used to crave for, but attention is at an all-time high. You got grown men like Martell. You got grown men who be on social media more than women. Got to let women know he working out because his shirt, he not wearing his shirt on his chest, and he got to do all this extra stuff. A lot of men around here with low self-esteem too. They try to associate low self-esteem to just an issue that women just have, but you can tell a man has low self-esteem just based off the fact you can't keep your hands on yourself, dude. You so bothered and pressed by my success, you so threatened by me that you got to put your hands on me. You got to unalive me and take me away from my family. Now, the DeShay Stevenson, this woman, she was taking care of her disabled mother. Now listen, y'all, this is the crazy part. I was watching an interview with DeShay Stevenson's sister, and remember what I just said when I said that her mother is paralyzed and she had to become a caregiver to her mother that's paralyzed. Well, believe it or not, her mother was paralyzed because it came from an abusive relationship. So abuse runs in this family. And the sister did say that my sister was just like her mother. They want to stay in abusive relationships because of the image. They felt like marriage was made of, no matter what my husband do, I stand by my husband, I support my husband, and I'm going to be dedicated no matter what. And that's what that's what her mother believed, and it caused her mother to become paralyzed, and in result of that, she believed the same thing, and she met her demise. So you have a lot of women out there who feel like no matter what their husbands do, no matter how abusive they are, you supposed to hang in there no matter what. Marriage, for the better, for the worse, you still have to stand by your man. Doesn't matter if he's having multiple women on you, having multiple children outside the marriage, coming home being abusive, spending up all your money, gambling up all your money, destroying your property. Now I found it, this is the other thing, I found it strange, when Keke Palmer was saying how abusive this guy was, to the point to where he was destroying her things. And this is the thing, when you get involved with a bottom breed beta male ladies, they become a liability, because most men who come in a relationship with nothing, they're not going to want to go back out into the world with nothing. They done got accustomed to living in your house, driving your car, eating your good food, and for you to tell them to get the F out, for them to have to go back, stand in the shelter line, stand in the soup line, you can't miss what you never had. And because they done got used to having this lifestyle with you, and for you to tell them, no, I won't out, and even though you may have very good reason, because they deserve, to no longer be a part of your life, and you very well may have good reason, and you may have very well be within your right to tell him to get the hell on. But guess what? The bottom breed better male, he doesn't think like that. First thing he's going to do is, if he doesn't unalive you, he's going to destroy everything you have, because he does not care about the value of all the things that you have accumulated, because see, he has not worked. He has not helped you accumulate those things. I've seen many women who have moved men into their homes, moved men into their apartments. If y'all seen that movie by Terry McMillan called Disappearing Acts, when she took in that guy that was a contractor, he was kind of struggling, and she called herself, she fell in love with him, caught feelings for him. And as soon as, she got pregnant or whatever, and he started showing his true colors, and she told him that she wanted out, because when she got pregnant, now he really felt like, oh, I'm in there now. She don't care, I got her now. We with child, she not going nowhere, especially when they have assured themselves that you're not going anywhere and you get rid of them. Listen, that dude tore up her whole house. He went to tearing up her furniture, tearing up everything. A person who has not contributed or brought anything in a relationship has nothing to lose by taking anything from you. That's just the bottom line. I've heard women who took men in their apartments and took them in their homes. Men tear up their beds, cut up their bed sheets, cut up the mattress with all the cotton coming out the mattress. You got some men that get on demon time, especially these broke common denominators. They get on demon time, and you tell them you want them out your house before you get off from work. I advise you, if you gonna put a man out your house, you better do it in a smart, strategic way. Don't just tell him, oh, I'm gonna go to work. When I get back, you better be gone. Let me tell you something. Everything gonna be gone. They'll set that whole apartment on fire just to prove a point, because they know they're going back to nothing. And that's the dangerous part. Sometimes no matter what you do, you can't protect yourself but so much. You can get a restraining order, you can do it the right way, and if you're dealing with a man that's disastrous and demonic, and most losers, they don't like to lose. That's the crazy part. Most losers do not like to lose, but they don't have a problem with making you lose everything. So it's a very, very sad situation, y'all. But I all three are different scenarios, but it all boils down to the same common issue, is that the bottom breed better male becomes a liability when he has nothing. So be careful when you marry the bottom breed better male. Be careful when you have a baby for the bottom breed better male. Be careful when you take these kind of men in your life. Because once you bring them in your life, it's easy bringing them in your life, but it's hell getting them out your life once you don't brought them in. So anyway, y'all, we'll keep Keke Palmer in prayers. Prayers to all the other women. Some of you may be viewing my channel right now. You got a no good better dude sleeping on your couch, won't work, won't leave, and you're afraid that if you were to make him leave, he's going to physically put his hands on you. A lot of these guys, they can get real beastie when they can't have their way. Definitely first, prayer. Second, start planning. And third, start pursuing. You're going to have to start putting into action. You're going to have to be creative. You're going to have to move in a strategic manner in which he cannot find out that you are, trying to, end the relationship. Especially when you done already seen red flags. You see he will put his hands on you. You see he will destroy your things. It's called slowly pulling your arm out of a lion's mouth. You can't be fast and do it out of anger, because it's going to be an implosion. So you got to be smart and you got to be strategic. Again, rest in peace to Mrs. Stevenson's family. It's unfortunate they had to lose somebody very dear to them. In the meantime, y'all, I will talk to y'all soon. Be blessed.